welcome to Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. This episode is part of our Free Expression Friday series, an interview series from ABA's American Booksellers for Free Expression, celebrating the amazing work of booksellers, organizers, and book people in general, fighting for the right to read.
Hi, thank you so much for joining me. Can you both introduce yourselves?
Yes, I am Tara Lenea, they, them, and I am the co-founder of Mosaics Bookstore here in Provo and the executive director of the United Drag Alliance.
And I'm Dean Mauchley, she, they, and I am coordinator over the storefront at Mosaics for the Resource Center.
And so there's a lot going on at Mosaics right now. Can you just say a little bit about what makes this moment very particular for you all and what you're going through?
So we are coming up on our 1 year of being open here. And in that year, we've had, as a lot of the community knows, multiple bomb threats. We've had a lot happen. And kind of to top it off, I've had some serious health issues that have come up, and it's led to me having to step away from a lot of things. And so with that, we brought on, Dean has stepped up to take on a much larger role than what they were initially signed up for. And we brought on an amazing team to kind of fill that void here in the store. And so with that, there's now this added pressure of the finance side, since we are a nonprofit. And unfortunately, the well is running dry, and there is a end date of we will no longer be able to support the space come December 1st. So, yeah.
And so that's obviously an incredible challenge that you're facing. And unfortunately, it's just the latest in a long series of challenges that you've faced. Tara, you talked a little bit about some of the bomb threats. Could you just elaborate on that so that people understand the scale of it to whatever extent you're comfortable?
So September of 2023, I was the target with Calvin Crosby at the King's English in Salt Lake. We had our first bomb threat, and then April 13th, we had one that was targeted towards me and our drag story hours here at Mosaics. And then we also had one on July 12th. That one, I chose not to make it as big of a deal, but it was the biggest one because that one also had a swatting attempt on my previous home that I had to flee the individual, and it was gruesome. And that's why I asked that it not be published, because what they put in that was a lot. And I was like, we don't need that energy in the world right now. So we've had that, and then just the overall trepidation from the community to help support the space, because it is so outside of what has ever happened here in Utah County, especially. So, yeah.
And yet, despite that, through all that, you're still there and you're still doing your amazing work.
I have realized how stubborn I am throughout this, as I'm like, no, we are going to go until the wheels literally fall off. We are going to make this work. And we have had a lot of community step up in amazing ways. So I am hopeful that we'll stay open. But yeah, no, I'm stubborn. But there is also a point when it's become an either or. Either I take care of myself and my health, or Mosaics survives. And against my better judgment, I am picking myself. My family is pretty much making me pick that. So, and the community, like, everyone's very much like, no, Tara, take care of yourself. So,
well, and it's so good that you are, and it's so important that doesn't have to be an either or, right? That the space can continue and that you can keep doing the amazing work you've been doing. Can both of you just talk a little bit about what is so important about the space, what the community that you've built there, the work that you're doing in Provo, Utah, and just why that space is so necessary?
I'll let you go.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so the space itself is very versatile. We have our bookstore side, and then we have another side that has venue opportunity, as well as our partnered third space free thrift section. And so we have a lot of resources for the community here, such as our food pantry. We even have hygiene kits. We have contraception kits. We have a lot of opportunity to support the community and provide resources that are not always comfortable to receive or ask for when you are trying to navigate gender affirming spaces and things like that. So the space itself has a lot of potential to be what it needs to be for the community. And in this last year, we've been, the phrase has always been, building the ship as we go and just trying to figure out what is that need with the community. And it's an open door policy. We have the opportunity for people to come and share with us what they're needing out of the space. Is it safety for socializing? Is it safety to perform? Or is it safety to come and take a nap on the pew, right? On our benches and in our sofas. So the space has been very important, I think, for those who come in and then realize how comfortable it is to be just them and be accepted for who they are, and just feel a space of security in the chaos of the local space and its social climate.
Yeah. And it's also a freedom to knowledge and access to knowledge. The books, I've taken a lot of mentorship, I guess, from Calvin Crosby with the King's English, of like the way the books are organized. It is like kind of a find your own adventure, because I don't know what someone needs. So we do have queer sections and we do have all these things. And it's the only space in Provo that information is really readily available, where they can be like, great, I am here for a romance book, but I can also disguise it with like, oh, can I sneak this queer book into this pile and get it out so that like my family that may not accept me, or a roommate or someone, may not notice what it is. And that's kind of where we've always tried to find that space of like, how do we safely get this information out? And with that, you become a target, because you have to tell people what you have in that sense. But we're here and we've gotten a lot of amazing feedback, and we've helped a lot of people. We've saved a lot of lives, frankly.
And as you mentioned, now you're in a moment where you need to ask the community, the larger community, to step up and help you keep doing what you're doing. Can you say a little bit about what you need and how people can help?
So right now we have our Indiegogo campaign that's going, and the goal is $200,000. That is a very large goal, and we are aware of it. That goal is our yearly operating costs here at Mosaics for 2025, with me not having to do anything really, so that I can take time to focus on myself. That's what that is. We have had some amazing resources in terms of like, we have people that are helping us renegotiate our lease on the space and things like that, so we can save it and things like that. But what I would love to see, and what our ask is that our operating costs are covered, so that we can continue being a space that can grow, because we are finally, with Dean and the staff that they have created and found, we finally have a team that is building that bridge in the community that I've always kind of struggled with, because I am so outspoken that I don't always make the friends and allies that I should personally. And so, but they are working to mend those bridges, and they are being mended as I step away. And so that's what we need right now, is like just that community support and that outreach, and especially from people around the nation that felt they had to leave their small town because they were queer and gay. Our mission is so much bigger than just even this one building, that we want to create a system where in small towns, people, if they want to stay, they can, and they get the support they need. I guess a particular ask for booksellers and people is like, so our books are our main revenue stream to stay open. Like that is kind of how we do this. We are a pay what you can model. We have a suggested donation of $4 a book, and how we've gotten a lot of our books are from bookstores and stuff that like, or publishers that the books aren't in the best condition. Like they can't sell it. So if booksellers or publishers have books that don't meet QA and they're a little dented or whatever, please send them our way. Because especially queer books, Spanish books especially, we are in a area of Provo that is the last true ungentrified area. And they need so much resource here, especially literature and knowledge. So like if people have the books that they can just like send, I will gladly send a donation receipt for the full cost of the book. I will absolutely do that. We have a team that can do that. But just having those resources come in at no or little cost to us is what we need. And there are ways to make that beneficial for both parties. So.
And what's the best way for people to get in touch with you to make that happen?
Social media is constantly monitored, but like they can always email the store's email at info@mosaicsutah.com. That's monitored by multiple people, just in case I'm out. Because unfortunately with me, it's like I have really good days and then I could go off the radar for a week. And then it's like, well, we don't want things to get held up. So,
well, that's great. Now people have a couple ways they can help: the Indiegogo campaign, and then also get in touch with you to figure out how to rehome some books that are maybe not in, new sale condition.
Absolutely. And it's like, obviously no water damage, things like that, because let's be real about what people would like to get. But like, if the corners are a little bent and it doesn't fit your new bookstore, send it over to us and we will gladly find it a home, find it someone that needs it. Because a lot of our books also, especially if they are more queer or left leaning politically, a lot of them do just go out the door for free because they don't want their parents or anyone to know that they're purchasing them. So it's a way to like make sure that people get that knowledge without gatekeeping it. So
I'm sure I'm joined by so many other booksellers and so many other people in the book world in saying that we want to do what we can to support you. And we're so happy that you're doing what you're doing. And I'm wishing you both the best in what comes next. Tara and taking a step back, Dean and taking a step forward, and Mosaics and just continuing to be the amazing place that you are.
Thank you so much, Philomena. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the Bookstore Education Podcast, brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Additional educational resources can always be found on the ABA website at www.bookweb.org. Happy reading!